Hi, in this series of videos I'm going to be building a desk. Two desks actually, one for me and one for my wife. We got a really good price on a couple of sheets of birch plywood, specifically this 24mm birch plywood. It was an end of financial year sale, so we actually got this a couple of months ago, but I haven't had a chance to get to it until now. This is going to be a series of videos, sort of like a really watered down version of the Wood Whisperer Guild, in that I'm going to dive into a lot of detail, perhaps less of the actual building stuff, but more of the techniques and tips and stuff like that. It's going to be a large project because it's two desks, so it's going to take a significant amount of time, so it's going to be spread over multiple videos. I'm going to try and release stuff a little bit more than once a week on it, but that's going to really depend on how things are progressing. Before I dive into the design, I'll go upstairs and show you the study where these two desks are going to live. So to properly design desks for me, I need to show you the space in which it's going in, what our requirements are, that sort of stuff. This is our study. It's just a small bedroom. We've got office furniture. This is something we bought off eBay about 10 years ago now. And it was meant to be temporary, but I'm sure you know how that goes. Our business that was shutting down, so we got full petitioning and all of that. Quite ugly stuff, but the price, particularly back then when I didn't have any tools at all, made it fantastic value. These are corner desks. They're not particularly functional. Corner desks in like an office environment can be great. Corner desks in a home environment can be a bit hit and miss. They take up so much space. You lose that entire corner there, and the return is functional-ish, and it just doesn't suit how we work in here. My computer, wife's computer. The way that they're mounted and all joined together is that they are all joined together, and they rely on the other half to actually hold it all up. So unfortunately I have to make two desks, not one, and they have to be done at the same time. We're going to have the desks running along this back wall side to side. Eventually we'll have monitor arms for both computers. Hers has one, mine doesn't. We've got the boom for our microphone. Currently microphone has been pinched by my wife, and we need to have some facilities around the cat. My cat loves hopping on top of computers, particularly when I'm playing games. And that's great, except the way that he climbs up the front, he hits the power button. So we'll have a little hutch for our computers to sit in that are cat-proof. Plenty of ventilation, of course, but I definitely make the whole thing cat-proof. These drawers aren't particularly functional. We'll have a small drawer added on for stationery, and then we'll set aside space for a filing cabinet and printer stand down the track. And if we even get time and material, we might make some sort of cat bed for this little monster. So with sort of the backstory behind it out of the way, I'll show you what I've come up with in Fusion. I'm just going to skim over the details. If there is enough demand, I'll make a separate 15 or 20-minute video going through the whole thing. This project was designed in reverse, starting with the material dimension first, then working backwards to the actual design we wanted. This did let me punch in a lot of the variables straight away though. When actually drawing the design, it was easiest to go top down. You'll notice this won't be a plain rectangle desktop, but it'll have some cutouts to make it less of a monolithic slab. This will be reflected in some of the finishing later on. Next was onto the leg structure. These desks will weigh a lot, and they'll be too large to go up a stairwell, and there will be two desks. This means the parts need to be relatively easy to batch out, and preferably able to break down into smaller parts to be knocked down for transport. For some extra support, I'm adding in a channel at the back. This will help prevent racking, as well as provide a channel for all the cables to be placed in, keeping the overall look very clean. Not covered in the Fusion design section was the panels. We're going to go with the same technique I used on the T-tray video, which is that textured pattern carved with a Dremel or a router or whatever. And we're going to use 9mm birch for that and some of this Osmo wood wax. For the front panel, that's going to be standing out from the rest of the frame using some standoffs, and that's going to have through holes in that pattern rather than just revealing the plywood underneath it. That'll allow a lot of ventilation for the computer cases so they don't overheat. I'm going to show a couple of different techniques to do that, including using the CNC to batch them out, but also go over doing it by hand using the router and Dremel and all those sorts of tools. As I said, if there is sufficient interest, I can do a video. It'll be 15-20 minutes on actually building it in Fusion and sort of a step-by-step of what I'm actually doing. But those type of design videos can be quite boring for a lot of people, so I'm a little bit hesitant to just throw that out in the wild just yet. So hopefully later in the week I will have the video on breaking down all the sheet goods and how I'm processing all of that. Thanks for watching.